Oh.
Coming up.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of him saying that.
Preferably around the neck. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Real
our
quick,
heads
before we get
rattle.
into
Mhm.
what we're going to, I want to ask Nell something real quick. I know you
Uh-huh.
said you might be able to join us in the Rifts game later, but we've hit a point in the Chaos Earth timeline where things are happening. Is it okay that I start applying the mutations to your character?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I don't know. I might just randomly show up one day
Okay.
when, yeah.
Because
Oh,
then I'll make sure your character starts getting a little more face time because you're 4th level. So
oh, awesome. I introduced Chris to Rifts yesterday, and it's the first time I've ever seen him interested in a role-playing game.
well, it's got giant fucking robots.
Yeah, he even said, he's like, so if you get bored of one realm, you can just rift into another and
Yes.
start a new adventure. I said, yes. He said, that is great. He really also liked the mutants, even though that's not Rifts, but it's Palladium. He liked mutants in orbit.
Mutants in orbit is good. Oh, your character is kind of notable because you walk around wearing pants and boots and no shirt, even though it's like 30 below. I kind of, in my head, have you ever seen The Babysitter?
Yes.
Have you
The
seen
one
sequel?
boyfriend. The boyfriend
Yeah.
that walks around. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I loved him. I loved him in that movie. I mean, he made the movie worth it. When, he gets killed and he's looking at the guy, I'm not even mad, bro. I'm not even mad. I mean, he like stole that thing. And the funny thing is in the scene where he's remembering working at a job, he was supposed to come out with a shirt on. Instead, he came out with the name tag pinned to his chest.
Yes.
I'm not even mad, bro.
Have you guys seen The Babysitter?
No.
No.
It's worth it.
It's so good. It's not what you think it is. I watched it on a whim and I was laughing my ass off. It's so fun.
It's great. It's great. It's not how you think it's going to end. That's actually pretty good. The second one, I like the second one too because why are you underestimating this little shit? He already killed us once.
And Wolf, yeah, it was Robbie Amell, Stephen Amell's brother. Stephen Amell, the guy that played Arrow. Robbie Amell is his brother because he also played Firestorm in The Flash.
But yeah, so I'm kind of tailoring your character after that guy.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
Oh man, but like I was telling Nishi and Kat and Janelle before the stream. I was looking for something to watch. Well, actually, no, let me go back. Me and my wife had to go to the ER because of me, and I also take my daughter to an appointment. And we're waiting for my daughter to finish her appointment. This radio show came on, and they're talking about stuff they watch. And somebody recommended Follow the House of Usher on Netflix. And everybody knows Netflix is kind of you pays your money, you take your chances. And so we didn't expect too much out of it. We were like, okay, we'll watch the first 2 episodes, and if it isn't any good, we'll just drop it. It's fucking good. I mean, from the first episode on, it's fucking good. And I'm telling you, there is nothing like watching rich, shitty people die in terrible ways to make you smile. But it's also tense. It's got some good tension. It's pretty good, and you don't feel sorry for anybody who dies. You really don't, because it's like, yeah,
So it's
good.
Like Megan.
Yeah, it's kind of like just die.
Yeah.
And it's got its tense moments. They do each episode kind of loosely themed on one of Poe's stories. It's pretty fucking good, and there's Edgar Allan Poe themes to the whole thing, and they don't shit on the work.
Oh,
They
that's
really don't.
good.
And sure, it's full of gay people and brown people and everything, but which some people, I don't mind seeing brown people on TV. Some people do. I don't know why, but they don't, go over the top with, I'm I'm oppressed because, I'm a multi-billionaire in brown. No, they don't do that.
Well, it's set in modern era, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'd have a problem with if it was set in the 1800s.
Right. But no, it's set in modern. It's set in modern uber rich. And, although I do like, how usually when, they want to make somebody seem fearsome, they give them like this special forces background and everything.
Yeah.
Instead, the main guy, Roderick, goes, do you know what the Pim Reaper was doing before he got into being a lawyer? He goes, I don't know, killing people. and Roderick goes, no. In 1980, when they did the voyage around the world, 1,000 miles a day, and they circumvented they went around the world. Pim was 25, and he dropped out of law school and strong-armed his way onto that expedition and went there the whole time. So why you and me were basically fucking around, he was bending the world over and making the world his bitch on this expedition. And he'll tell you about all of it except for what happened at the North Pole. And Roderick goes, I like to think he killed and ate someone. That's the background they gave this lawyer. And if you watch it, it really feels like, yeah, this is a guy who once killed and ate someone on an expedition around the world. So,
Wow.
it's kind of a nod to the Northwest Passage attempts in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the
it was pretty
HMS
cool.
Terror.
Yeah.
It was kind of a nod to that, but it was an interesting because, that's character development where, you don't need to fill in the blanks. It's just like, okay, this guy is tough enough that he went on a voyage around the world at 25 with a big group on an expedition. And it really fits in. They call the guy the Pim Reaper, and he's got a lot of presence. I mean, a lot of screen presence, and that's something that's nice to see because you don't really have that anymore. Because a lot of these people are like non-entities. I mean, think of most of the stars of most of the younger set, 40 and below. They've got no screen presence. There's nobody that steps out of the doorway like Arnie does and fills the whole room, and all the other characters seem to, fade slightly. They don't have that anymore. So actually seeing a character that has that kind of presence, that his presence overwhelms the other stars, is kind of nice because the guy playing the Pim Reaper carries a malevolence with it. So I watched it. I got 2 more episodes left. I'm very happy, even though some of it was predictable. It's just nice being right. It's really good being right. And so if you want something to watch, I think it's like 10 episodes. Fall the House of Usher is definitely something to kick back and watch. If you're prone to anxiety, though, it'll get you. The anxiety will get you. If you're prone to being anxious. So yeah, because my wife's like, I can only handle 1 or 2 episodes. We can't just sit and binge this. I'm like, all right. Well, watch Friday the 13th and relax. And she's like, yeah, let's watch Jason kill teenagers. Because shit's all gone sideways. And so, if you're looking for a recommendation for this Halloween, give that a shot. Because I'm gonna do Haunting on Hill House next, that series, because I've heard good things about it. But what everybody else says is great and what is really great are 2 different things, because people said that Captain Marvel was great and it was the dumbest shit I'd seen, and they should have spent more on actual actors than the special effects. And it basically demasculinized the most fucking masculine dude in the MCU. Oh, how did Nick Fury lose his eye? Well, a space cat scratched him. Go fuck yourself. I hate that. I hated that.
That's the kind of thing some woke chick would think was clever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what it was.
Huh. Oh, what would be cool and subversive is if the space cat scratched his eye, and that's why he lost it. Yeah. So this whole the last time I trusted somebody, it cost me an eye. He was talking about a cat, not some fucking Cold War espionage shit. where he's up to his ass in alligators. No. It's a cat scratched him in an abandoned bar.
Yeah.
Ugh. Fuck, I
Well,
hate that show.
I've noticed lately anything that has Nick Fury in it subverts and kind of shits all over everything. I mean, Secret Invasion, all of a sudden you find out that Rhodey wasn't even Rhodey. It was a
Yeah.
Skrull the whole time. So it takes away from the ending of Endgame when Rhodey says goodbye to his best friend as he's dying.
Well, we've said it on this show before, and I'll say it again. These people can't human very well.
No.
No.
They don't.
Sociopathic NPCs.
Yeah. No empathy. They're good at faking it, but that's about it.
This is why I
To a
don't like
certain degree.
people.
Hmm?
This is the reason I don't like people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people can be fine. It's just you got to winnow through the idiots. I mean,
Sadly, I don't have the patience for that anymore. I really don't. I mean, Steve's telling me I've become the ultimate cynic and just total asshole. It's like, because I don't like anyone anymore. I have a small group of people that I like, and that's about it.
And the rest you can fucking die.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, life has gotten so easy and luxuries are so prevalent that people have no idea just how hard life is for some people, because there's a huge divide in this country. There's a huge divide all over the world between the have and have nots, and it's just getting worse. I mean, I love that thing. Oh, the economy is doing great if you take out food, transportation, and rent and utilities. Oh, you mean the economy is doing great if you take out the stuff you need to survive?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I was shocked to find out they don't factor in rent or
Nope.
rent, food, or fuel when calculating inflation.
No, they also don't include utilities.
Yeah.
You mean the four big things that are affected by inflation? They don't
Yeah.
count. Of course they
They
don't.
They
What
don't
eats up-
calculate any of those.
What eats up 80 to 90% of your paycheck?
Mm-hmm.
They don't count that.
Yeah.
What they count is your stocks and bonds
Yeah.
and the purchasing power of the rich.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking, and then this whole thing of now there's rumors of another draft going around. And I see this fucking article in a military site I go to. I've been having my problems with them anyway, where they're like, oh, the military needs you to stop bad mouthing the military to your children and tell them about the fun you had. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. That's
Wow.
great.
You had?
My oldest daughter got to actually come to the hospital and see her father in an oxygen tent. That she remembers that more than anything else. Yeah, don't tell them. But no, what it is most of the global war on terror vets and before are telling their kids, if you join, I'll break your fucking leg.
Well, the amount of stories I'm hearing where you have like legacy soldiers, people whose grandfather, great grandfather,
Mhm.
going through all the way to the Civil War, to the Revolutionary War. There's always been at least one person who signs up, and they're all being told by their family who's still living, "Don't sign up."
Don't sign up. Don't sign up. There's no reason to. Don't sign up for people. No, don't sign up for people who hate you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's not the American military or the U.S. military anymore. It's the
It's the alphabet mafia.
It's not
No,
representing us. It's not
we-
defending our constitutional rights.
no, it's defending pocketbooks, grift, graft, and corruption. One of my neighbors he's Hispanic descent. He looks Mexican, but his family has been here since I think right before Santa Ana got his fucking shit pushed in at the Alamo. He's been all the way up above Oklahoma. His family's been in here forever. I like to fuck with him. Admit it, your family came up here as Aztecs. So you could sacrifice Indians. Admit it. He's like, no. I'm like, just admit it. And then we saw this thing where apparently Aztecs made it as far as Missouri. And, and I looked at him. He's like, just shut the fuck up. Because he's got the hat. He's got the hatchet nose you see on some people with Aztec descent. But
Oh, okay, yeah, the Monty Montezuma knows.
Yeah, and he told his son, if you join the military, I will personally cut your hamstring. And his family's been, involved in every war. He was like, of course we didn't fight for the Mexicans. Mexicans are delicious. I mean, Mexicans were wrong. Oh man, but you can't joke like that anymore. Your Mexican buddy can't make it. Your Aztec buddy can't make allusions to cannibalism because that's bad. Oh, you're gonna love this issue.
Yeah.
Now, you see, the Aztecs weren't sacrificing the hearts to their sun god. It was actually attempts at heart transplants.
Oh, you're shitting
Get
me.
the fuck
Yes.
out. You've
So
got to
that-
be
nope.
joking me.
So that their leaders could live forever.
Who
No.
the fuck made this shit up?
Oh, the same people that were like, actually, the human race, originally, the women did the hunting.
Oh
then
my
stayed
god.
home.
Oh, fuck me.
No.
Okay, I need alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah,
women are better suited for hunting.
yeah, hunting berries.
Well, for those of you who have read Boobs of Steel, I actually cover that and where that myth came from and why it's bullshit. And it actually can be traced right back to Engels with communism. That's where that came from.
Der Motorik.
And
We
you go
talked
to it
about
and
it.
Steel. But yeah, it's a big thing now. And I love it when you start reading the article, you get into it. They're going off the Neanderthal remains.
Oh.
And Neanderthals did not have the wide sex dimorphism humans did. You know what else?
No, the males and females look the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else the Neanderthals didn't have?
What?
The ability to throw stuff overhand at full power.
Oh,
They're
really?
they were like, their shoulder joints were different. Where we could huck a spear, and still fuck something up at like 50 paces and run like hell. If it had to chase us, they couldn't. They had to get up and stab.
Oh, dang.
Interesting.
But yeah, so they were basing this whole thing of early man. No, early Neanderthal. That's different species. But no, they're claiming, they show pictures of human females and human males with all these excuses on why men were the ones that can't hunt. And it's like, the only rebuttal I have to that is years in the military and being a hunter when I was a teenager. But yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, I love. It's gonna take decades to fix the scientific community when all this shit is over.
Mm-hmm. No, it is.
Well, we're going to look at it the same way we looked at all the sciences, where they were going off the notion that the Bible was 100% literal.
Right.
And that way, they were convinced the date had to be a certain thing because of the date of the flood in the Bible. And
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Earth is only 3,000 years old, not billions of years old. Yeah.
The whole argument about that was actually one of the big arguments against plate tectonics was, well, if you look in the Bible, it's like, no.
Yeah. Well, what happened to Jericho? Don't you? Do what happened to Jericho?
What?
Meteor strike. A nearby meteor strike caused the earthquake that caused the walls to collapse and made the big sound they heard. And that's why they saw the fist of the gods, because it leveled this whole area. I mean, if you read what that meteor strike did, it looks like the wrath of God.
I buy it.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to read. But well, that's right now, remember when we were kids, they always said any scientific principle that cannot stand on its own merit is not scientific. If you have proof that comes along that disproves your theory, you need to look at your theory again. Now it's any proof that comes along that disproves your theory must be discarded or delegitimized, or you have to twist it to get the answer you want.
Yeah.
Because, there's a new thing with, whenever you say this, I say this and people automatically think flying saucers and lasers. Mankind was significantly more advanced than we thought 30,000 years ago. And it looks like the out of Africa theory is bullshit.
Oh, it is bullshit.
Yeah, they proved that it was the Mediterranean is where everybody came from. They found that body, or the remains, not a body. Because they also found remains of a wooden building in the UK that is 500,000 years old.
Well, they found out that it looks like we're a lot older than we thought, but what happened, according to the etchings and everything, and the remaining cave etchings and stuff, we took a meteor swarm.
Hmm.
We took a meteor swarm that just fucked us.
That's
But
the current theory.
no, it's not. It's a fringe theory because it doesn't matter. There's all this evidence for it. It doesn't matter that it's got all this evidence and all this backing. They won't accept it because it violates the current. This is the science is settled, and anybody who tells you the science is settled, smack in the face.
Well, the UN will actually give grants to people who continue to try and prove the out of Africa theory and the idea that civilization began, 5,000 years ago. And anything that breaks from that, they will do anything they can to make you look bad or discredit you, shit on you. There are a number of what?
There are Japanese and Chinese civilization relics older than 5,000 years ago.
And one of the reasons was the out of Africa theory was kind of formulated and embraced as this notion of, see, we're all one, we're one people. When the truth of the matter is, the more likely scenario is that we're a hybrid species and that different strains of humanity were popping up around the globe at the same time.
There's 11 species of humans. We're the only ones left.
Right.
The Devanosians, I think it's what it is, or the Denevosians or something like that.
Yeah.
We fucked them out. Well, they were, from what they can tell, the Denevosians were party orgy animals, and they just got bred into our line.
Right.
The Neanderthals couldn't compete. They were primarily carnivorous. Their women had big butts and large breasts, and their men were made of tasty meat. And they ran into us, and that was the end of that. There was another one that had a big head that they estimate was smarter than the majority of humans, but they hated each other. And they also didn't really go for tools, so we ran up and speared them to death because fuck you. Yeah, we're the ones that won.
Well, it looks like in most cases we bred them out. We, just basically our genes won out when we bred with them.
Yeah,
but I mean,
like the Hobbit people that we just massacred. Fuck those people.
But it looks like Homo sapiens were kind of popping up all over the globe in more than one place at the same time. And this idea that there was one first Adam and one first Eve doesn't really work. And that kind of makes sense because if you look around the world, there are other animals where, I'll just use rats, where they had been separated by continents. And you saw them evolve in similar directions to where hundreds of thousands of years later, they're still alike and can breed, even though they did not share the same environment.
Well, look at the environmental changes that happened to the human race.
Right.
If we could go back just for a second, I think the theory that RALT'S brought up about the meteor strike sounds multiple. Going back to the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah, you read those passages, meteor strikes. I'm a Christian, but I also realize that the Bible is not the final word. It was written by men through interpretation, handed down through oral tradition.
And plus trying to explain the world around them. I mean, can you imagine trying to explain a meteor hit that caused the Red Sea to part?
Yeah, right? Well, also, I mean, and not just Christian religion, but in many religions, not even just in the Middle East, but around the world, the Great Flood did happen. And they have theorized that the Mediterranean Sea did not exist until there was a massive deluge and earthquakes.
The barrier wall collapsed.
And that's what the Great Flood was, and it happened all in the areas around the cradle of civilization. So,
and then everybody scattered.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they also had access to scatter too, because now they could go across this giant sea to other places.
Well, the Mediterranean Valley was very fertile. You see from the subs and everything, there's trees down there, and there's buildings down there. And it's obviously this was dry land at one point. So, you got to figure the flood started as a trickle. It must have taken, years before the waves first started breaching it in places and washing over it. And then it hit critical mass where the water started pouring over it, eroding away the softer rock, and then it collapsed. But they must have had years, and there must have been people who've been like, I don't know, man, every full moon we get a lot of fucking seawater, down by the river. Might be time to move. Time to get to high land. Because people always think that our ancestors were idiots. I hate this about the modern era. They think that they think that the peasantry, and if you go back and you take somebody from like 900 BC, they're fucking retards. I hate that because they weren't. They were actually dealing with a world that, I don't know. It irritates me because they go, oh well, how they were all dumb. No, they weren't. Oh well, they believed in this. Yeah.
Look, even though they didn't have as much information, if you look at, you know, ritual or lore or other things like that, it's like, no, there's some real truth here that
Well,
is through empirical, study. Uh,
well, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, at this point in time, nobody can argue, well, they believe this. Well, it's like, yeah, you guys believe that a man can become a woman. So
You believe in communism.
The only people who believe in communism are fucking rich people.
I love that.
Retards, yes.
I love the rich people part.
Yeah, they're always rich. They're always spoiled rich kids.
They'll let me keep my money. That's not how this works.
It's like none of these people have read the Bolshevik Revolution and what the fuck happened to the rich people. Yeah, the
when they teach this shit in college, they gloss over everything bad. And I love that. Oh, it was sabotaged by capitalism. What do you think Russia was trying to do to the U.S.? We're still dealing with the repercussions of what they tried to do, what they did to the U.S. But it's the U.S.'s fault. It's capitalists' fault that communism failed. Well, if it's the superior system, why did capitalism win? Yeah.
You try to explain how actual capitalism works, and especially if you go back to the old school, I can't pronounce, laissez-faire. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I tried to explain this once, and this is the simplest way I could explain it. And tell me if I was too complicated. I said, capitalism, one way you can explain capitalism is somebody has a resource. Everybody wants that resource. So you can jack up your prices. Well, it drives somebody else to go look for that resource. Yep. Or same thing with inventions. And then all of a sudden, now you have to lower your prices because you have competition.
What we have now is
leads
not
to
capitalism.
Innovation. Yeah, no, we have fascism.
This is not capitalism, because now when the guy came back with his version of the resource, the government comes over and beats him to death with a club.
Yeah.
Well, the one I like to always ask is, the communist goes on and on about capitalism. And one, capitalism is a term that was made up by Marx. Two, what the fuck did you call it back? What was it called when there wasn't the name communism? What was the free exchange of goods before
Trade?
The theory of capitalism?
Trade.
What was it?
Trade. Commerce.
Yeah. It's just fucking trade. Something we've been doing since the beginning of time.
I had some idiot on Twitter telling me, oh, well, capitalism didn't exist and money didn't exist until 200 years ago. It's like, what?
Whoa! Hi, the Roman Empire. I'd like to
Dumbass.
say something.
That wasn't actually coins. That was tokens for your labor. I'm like, so
Jeez.
coins.
What? Yeah, so coins.
It wasn't money. It was tokens for how much labor you'd done and labor exchange. So money.
That's a special kind of stupid.
Well, the whole thing is, oh, well, you would get a voucher for how much labor you'd done multiplied by how important it was. But once you turned it in, those vouchers would get ripped up. And it's like, you've never met people, have you?
Yeah.
It sounds like a paycheck.
Yeah, it sounds. But why isn't it money? Because it's vouchers. But that's money. No, it's vouchers. It's money. Okay.
Like,
Okay,
who the fuck taught you economics? Shit.
If there's that tribe in the fucking Pacific whose money was great big fucking stone wheels and it's money, then your vouchers are money. Oh God, people are.
See, this is why I hate people. We just, yeah, I hate people.
And you ever notice that the people that espouse communism the most have never worked a day in their fucking life?
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Friends had a really good scene. Friend had this great scene. The really rich girl, Rachel, fall from grace, and she goes to work and she gets her first paycheck and she's all thrilled. She's got her first paycheck and she opens it up and goes, "Who's FICA and why is he getting all my money?"
Like 5 years ago, a father had his son open up his first paycheck, and he was all excited, think he was going to get the full paycheck. And he's like, "Why the hell is the IRS taking my money away?" And his dad's laughing his ass off at him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Welcome to the real world, son."
You know what pisses me off about it the most now is, they take my tax money and they're not even doing what they're supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to be part of Ordnance Corps, and you're hearing all this stuff about ammunition shortages, right? This is a particular fucking thing of mine. I absolutely just fucking spurred out on it. But it turns out that the money is being wasted in graft and corruption, and they make a big deal over it. Oh, he doubled the amount. Okay, so the facilities we had for 155, 5.56, 7.62, and 9mm were all running at about a quarter capacity. They're making a big deal over the fact they doubled capacity. Well, if you actually read into it, they're just working full shifts now. So where's my money going? Where is my fucking money going if we can't make tank parts? Where's my money going if they don't know how to make Stinger missiles or Javelin missiles anymore? Where's my money going? It's obviously not going to the military. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, the military is the largest chunk of the U.S. budget." Not even close. Well, it's going to Medicaid. Well, if it's going to Medicaid, how come people who are on Medicaid can't get medical? How come old folk and disabled who are on Medicaid can't get fucking surgical procedures and medication? Where's my money going? Oh, it's going to Social Security. Well, really, because Social Security doesn't pay dick. Okay, I know people who are disabled on Social Security, and that's not enough to live off of. Okay, $900. Yeah, you go out there and survive on $900. Go ahead. Oh, it's going to food stamps. Really? You seen the price of food lately? So where's my money going as a taxpayer? Where the fuck is my money going? And then I watch the fucking news, and they're giving away hundreds of billions of dollars. But does Hawaii get anything? No. Does New Palestine or the hell that place was in Ohio, do they get anything? No. Does Oregon when it burns down? No. Are they using the money to so Ishii State can have water again?
Yeah.
No. Well, where's my money going?
Ukraine,
going?
Israel, and Palestine.
And
That's where it's going.
Apparently the government paychecks.
Oh, that too.
I saw that woman. Oh God. Well, I've been working for the government for 7 years and I only make $100,000 and the shutdown's got shut up.
Like, I hate you.
Most
you make $100,000 a year.
Make that.
You've been working there for 7 years and you're earning $100,000 to sit on your ass and play solitaire and let the fucking line spread out. No, go fuck yourself. Where's my money going? Where's my money? Well, we can't do anything at the border because we don't have the money. How much more money do you need? Oh, I have an idea. Here's an idea. Stop giving money to other countries. I don't mind that, we spent $5 million making stilts for ants because that was a very interesting thing and it actually taught us a few things. I don't mind that. I don't mind $10 million to teach underprivileged kids to square dance, although, I do reserve the right to point and laugh because I remember that shit. I don't mind that. But I mind giving $3 million for some woman to be tied up by her ankles and swing back and forth over a canvas where her hair is draped through the paint. I mind that she got $5 million.
Is that the spirit cooking chick?
No, it's some other dipshit.
Feminist art.
I hate art. I hate modern art. I hate it with a passion.
That's because it's meaningless.
Oh, God, you guys should hear my son go off on his rant of modern art. He spent 20 minutes unloading about the idiocy of it because his
Good
art
kid.
teacher was woke. And she wouldn't teach them. I told you guys about this, that she
Yeah.
didn't teach them about the classical artists because they were old white men. Even though they asked to learn about the two artists that she asked the class what they wanted to learn, who they wanted to learn about, Da Vinci and Picasso. And she said no, because they were old white men and they needed to focus on modern art today. And
Well,
Chris hated that class.
if you ask a big enough racist, they'll tell you that neither one of those people were white. One was an Italian and the other one was a Greek. And I know old people who would swear up and down that neither one of those are white. I mean, God, but I hate the modern art scam.
Mm-hmm.
Modern artist makes a piece of art, sells it to a rich person for $100,000. The rich person gets a hold of his contacts and has it valued at $50 million, and then sells it at auction for $50 million. It's modern art is a scam.
Yeah. Well, it's like NTFs.
Oh, I've got a
Yeah.
story about that shit. My art teacher, who actually did the poster art for Army of Darkness, he was telling us about being a gallery artist. The brief moments that he was, and he put his artwork in the gallery, and he priced it per what it cost him to buy the paints, the time he put into it. Basically, he priced it per how everybody else sells their goods, and his art was selling, and he's like, this is great. And he had somebody from the gallery community pull him aside and say, what the hell are you doing? He goes, I'm selling my art. They're like, no, 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 no. This isn't how you do it. You are pricing your art way higher than you should be. He goes, but this is, what I spent. And they're like, no, you don't have the reputation yet to warrant the price you're asking for. You need to be pricing your art, at least a zero down of what you have been. And basically, they then told all the galleries in the area, don't carry his artwork until he lowers his prices.
And he could have taken that shit to Comic-Con and made 5 times as much.
Actually, that is what he does now. He has a gigantic booth,
I
and
will,
for his art school, and all of the teachers and the students can sell their art there.
I actually saw a modern art piece when I was in Europe. Uh, there was all of it was trash, and then there was one that caught my attention, and it was this huge stone block, and it had a one of those rope blockades around it, and it had a single chip out of it that was laying on the floor. At first, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I looked at the name. It's called "Man's Inhumanity to Man." And I stood there staring at it because I suddenly got it. And this guy walks up and he goes, "You're staring at this a lot. What's up?" I said, "Oh, I get it. This is the only piece of modern art in this whole fucking wing that I understand." And like, "Oh," they're like, "I made that." And I was like, "How long did it take you?" And anybody's being sarcastic, like, "What, 10 minutes to chip it?" He goes, "Believe it or not, that took me 15 years." I was like, "What? Why?" And he goes, "Oh, here, come into this room." He took me to one of the side rooms and he showed me all this stuff he had carved before. All these lifelike figures, rebuking like one person, or turning away from suffering. He goes, "I did these in wax, or even got halfway through them in stone." He showed me the pictures. He goes, "And then I got that block and I was going to make it a big deal. And I knocked that chip out of it and I got distracted. When I came back, it was sitting there and there it was. It actually, made sense. It really did. There's the monolith with one chip out of it. Man's Inhumanity to Man." And I listened to him because he was talking, he struggled for 15 years for this concept he wanted. And it turned out that simple. And it was funny because I ended up drinking beer with him. There's a surprise, a fucking artist who has his shit in a gallery who drinks beer. And he told me that most modern art is garbage. And he hated that was his masterpiece because most people don't get it. And all the suffering that went into it, and everything he tried to do. When there's where somebody smeared paint on a canvas with their ass cheeks next to his work. I mean, I totally got. For some reason, that piece really struck me as artistic. Isn't that weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all because you just explained he explained why he did that piece or had that piece out.
Oh, somebody's got fighting words in here,
What?
guys.
What?
The antisocial contract. Gen Xers are literally boomers. You know what, kid? Take your fist, ball it up, shove it up your ass.
Gen X is literally boomers. Actually, we're not, kid. Our parents were. We were the early kids that they abandoned in cars and left in the stores and ignored. Um,
So that they could spoil you and turn you into the pleasant
did
piece
I
of
wake you up?
shit that you are. Sorry.
So, yeah, uh, you can make all the complaints you want, but yeah, nobody cares because you're a whiner. I mean, calling Gen X boomers is like calling millennials trash pandas, and calling Gen Z brain damaged rodents. I mean, TikTok rodents. I mean, everybody who's pointing, they're trying to point fingers at Gen X because Gen X is old enough that we've got our houses finally.
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Our kids are out of the home, so we've actually got a little spending money finally. So we're just the next target for, oh, I don't have anything, and it's your fault. So what's that in your hand? Well, it's a $12 coffee. Hey, you know what I
What's
had?
in your other hand? An iPhone.
What's that in your ass? Oh, a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what my coffee was? It was a 50-cent cup of Folgers. So they're pointing at us now because we're finally able to not drive a fucking 20-year-old car that's missing on one cylinder and has a broken fender. So obviously we're the cause of their woes.
That still blows my mind. That's how they see it because most Gen Xers that I know don't go to Starbucks. They still have a coffee pot in their house and make their own fucking coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This guy's been trying to get
What?
our attention for a while here. Look at this one.
What? I'm on the back porch.
Every criticism of Boomer applies to Gen Xers. You failed and your culture is trash.
Well, why don't you go fuck yourself, sweet cheeks?
No.
Wow.
No. Well, that's great. Then why are you guys constantly taking our culture and abusing it if it's so bad? Why is it you can't come up with anything yourself?
Take that Nirvana shirt off, pussy.
Do you own a Ramones album?
You're literally boomers, but younger.
Okay, no, this guy's a fucking troll now.
Oh,
at this
of course
point.
he's a troll.
Okay,
That's
so
why I'm reading
you
it.
guys want to shred him? Hey, chat. You want us to shred him for entertainment?
I don't really want to shred him. I mean, it's just amusing.
It's not worth it because honestly,
I don't fucking understand.
Like every other millennial and Gen Zer, they'll just pull excuses out of their ass about poor pity them. And I get it. Everybody who's listening to this channel knows that I have sympathy for the millennials and Zoomers. I really do because they didn't get the American dream. The millennials, they got to see the American dream fade away. The Gen Zers, they have no concept of what the American dream is. The Gen Xers, we had the American dream in our hands, and the boomers ripped it out of our hands.
True.
So I get them. I mean, I get it. With America was supposed to be this, and wait, where's all this stuff that I was told in high school and college? Where's the job? Where's the jobs? Where's the housing I can afford? And Gen X is like, yeah, we totally get you and we totally get Gen Z and millennials when they're complaining about property prices. I mean, holy fuck! I was looking at something. Somebody popped up on Twitter with a story in 2 parts, and it's a house that is for sale for $1.2 million. But it's the second picture that really tells you what it's about. Inactive meth lab house.
Oh, shit.
And it sold for $1.5 million.
Okay, wait a minute. This guy said we did fuck all about boomers robbing us. You know why? Because when they started the robbing, we were children.
We were 9.
Yeah, we didn't have a fucking chance yet. Thank you very much. And by the time that we were old enough to figure it out, it was too late. So you know what we did? We said, fuck you, and we walked away.
Yeah. No, that's a fair assessment.
It is, but we did fuck.
Whatever.
We said fuck it, whatever, and raised our kids. And, tried to give them better than we had. We should have beat them more, though. We really should have. We really should have beat them.
Well, I mean, part of the problem is none of them will fucking leave their seats. You know, they should have all fucking retired by now.
Oh God. And I hate it. I hate seeing my generation in politics. I
Yeah.
really do, because they're all the skeeziest motherfuckers that would fuck you in the ass and wouldn't even give you a reach around. You fucking know it. You know I mean, look at Crenshaw. Jesus fucking Christ. That man, he's a millennial, but he skates everywhere he goes on the CIA jizz. I mean, most fucking millennials, actually most Gen Xers that are in politics are the skeeziest motherfuckers that are still mad that they got shoved into lockers. They're the most skeeziest fucks. And what do they do? What do they do when they get there? They're like, oh, I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for you. And as soon as they get in there, they're holding you down for the government to screw you. But then all politicians are scum. They all are. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. All politicians are scum. And yeah, did we do anything about the boomers screwing us? Well, it was a little hard. By the time we turned of age and by the time our wars were over, the factories are shut down, the mills are shut down. There was legislation to keep us from raising our kids the way, we were raised, which thank God. But
And the other thing is we couldn't even vote them out because they outnumber us by
no, you're right. We couldn't vote them out
because they out fucking number us by
Yeah.
was it like for every 2 Gen Xers, there's 3 boomers?
I thought it was 3 to 5.
Or something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. We can't even fucking beat them in an election.
Oh God! And if we did beat them in an election at the local level, some of the boomer politicians refused to leave office and just told us to suck it.
Yeah.
That shit happened in Oregon and California and Arizona and Washington. I mean, I wish though, he was right though. I wish we had fought more. I really wish we had. I wish we hadn't let our apathy take over. And I wish we would have drug them out of their fucking boardrooms, and we'd have drug them out of the C-suites, and we would have drug them out of the politics and said, no, fuck you. You had your chance. You burned everything. I'll agree with him there. That we did fuck all to prevent it.
We should have had a night of the long knives.
Yeah, we should have. But, we wanted to raise our kids, and we were like, okay, our grandparents suffered. There was a Great Depression. We're looking at, because the 90s, you were on two sides. Either you were living large on the tech boom, or you were on food stamps. There was no in between.
That's true.
And we really should have dragged everybody out and started beating them to death when they started offshoring our jobs, because they never offshored middle management. They never downsized middle management. No. That's the boomers. They downsized us. And what we should have done is when they started downsizing us, we should have burned the fucking factories. And we should have burned the fucking office buildings. When they started raising CEO salaries into the tens of millions of dollars and bitching that you wanted a day off is when we should have burned the boardrooms. I mean, looking back,
what are we doing now? What are we all doing now? Stockpiling food and ammo.
Yep. And
and water.
You know what? And he's right. When Bin Laden hit the World Trade Center, we should have sent SEAL Team 6 to cut his head off and bring it back.
Well, that's what we all wanted.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, the first time in '94.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should have sent SEAL
Clinton
Team.
was in office, as if anything was going to happen.
We
I was
should
going
have.
to say Black Hawk Down happened under Clinton.
Yep. We should have fucking been like, no, that's enough. That's enough. And when the boomers said, let's invade Iraq, we should have said, hey, remember last time? And you told us not to when we owned that country. It blows me away. There's Cheney saying, well, we didn't take over Iraq because it would destabilize the whole region. Less than 10 years later, we're going to invade Iraq despite the fact it'll destabilize the region. You fat fuck. He's right. We let our apathy, and now we are paying the price. I'll admit he's right. I don't mind. I don't mind admitting my mistakes. We really should have, when our moms and dads said we're going to sell the family home, we should have taken them out in the woods and left them. When mom and dad said, oh, I'm going to use your college fund and the money you saved up for the money that grandpa gave you to go to college to go on cruises around the world, we should have drowned him in the bathtub. We really should have, but we didn't.
Well, unfortunately for me, when the family farm the literal family farm was sold. I was only 14. Couldn't do shit about it.
Sorry, I was 6 when they took my college money. Yeah, my wife was 6 when she took her college money. I never had college money. Yeah, my dad said if I want college money, I could pick up beer bottles by the interstate.
No, my
Yeah.
mom took my college money and bought herself a brand new Jeep.
Ralt, you fled your home at age 15 because you were tired of getting punched and hit over the head
Yeah.
and ended up living in a trailer and working a job at 15. So, I mean,
But it worked out.
it
Yeah,
did.
but he is right. I mean, he's being a troll, but he is right. We should have. But the millennials had a chance to turn it all around because they got into the tech. Like the boomers held us back from tech. I mean, we fucking
No, we pioneered a lot of that tech.
Yeah, I was gonna
right, but
say.
they held us out of positions as much as they could. And the millennials came in and thankfully they got in there and got rid of a lot of the old thinking of the internet will have no more effect on civilization than the fax machine. They got rid of that. And unfortunately, then the boomers started going, well, what if we just made an app? And the millennials were like, for fuck's sake, I was talking about the fucking microwave in the break room. They had their chance to do it too. Millennials are 40. They're not blameless. They're adults. They're in their 40s. They had their chance to take down the boomers too. And they didn't because, hey, the boomers made Funko Pops for me to jam in my butt. And now Gen Z,
Wow,
we'll
this
see what
guy's
happens.
saying we're actually communists.
You're trying too hard, kid.
Yeah.
You're trying
you're a
way
tryhard.
too fucking hard at that one.
Dude, you
Kinda
actually
got to-
had it. You had us on a roll. You could have kept it going, but you fucked it up.
Fucking
We're
loser.
communist boomerism.
Uh-huh. See, look, you had a point, but you know what? You lost it. That's just out of your ass.
What? But yeah, communist boomers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because we're all about marching around and talking about Marxism. That's our big thing. Yeah, we love communism.
No,
we
I
embrace
think
it
part of
fully.
the problem with us is it was our blessing and our curse, and it was that DIY attitude. Well, fuck it, I'll just go over here and do it myself.
Yeah.
And we did. That's what we're still doing. Yeah, fuck it, I'll go over here and do it myself. But at the same time,
I'll make my own casino.
Yeah, that doesn't really change anything on the larger scope. It just affects your personal sphere.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, that's exactly what Kat and I have done. We just fuck it, we'll just get out of here and do our own thing.
We also we didn't the other mistake we made is when they really started poisoning the well between men and women. Gen X didn't.
Oh no, I fucking fought that one. Don't even.
Yeah.
I wrote a fucking
I did too.
book.
Oh, I still do. I still fight it. But I mean, we should have shut that down with knives, and we didn't. I mean,
That one I'm with Ralph on because I had friends that were hardcore feminists. I mean, these were women that thought Yoko Ono was the godsend for all female musicians. And I didn't say shit. So no,
Well,
I'm with Ralph on
I
that one.
can't-
I have to say, I proudly, anytime I'd hear, bitches talking about their men and how much, they hated their husbands, and it's just kind of like, no, I'm happily married. It's like, no, I don't have back problems with my big tits. Fuck you.
if you hate them so much, why are you married to them?
Exactly. It's like, no, I'm happily married. Don't know what's wrong with you. And no, it was in junior high when I was hearing all this bashing of men, and I'm like, wait a minute, guys have always been nice to me. It's always been women who have been assholes. And like even the guys who did make fun of me when I was a kid, men understood that threshold of when you've gone too far, where women wanted to push you too far.
Yeah.
And it's like fuck that shit. So no, yes, when I was younger, I would pick and choose my battles more than I do now. But No, fuck that shit. I tried to do my best to at least be an example, if not actually, like live it, if not actually like verbally say, stop
Well,
bashing men, god damn it.
no, you actually fought that one in the trenches in the comics industry
That's true.
on
That's
ground
true.
zero. You no that
Nobody hates women like women do.
yeah.
Very true.
Oh,
Yeah.
women are mean. They made a fantastic movie about it called Mean Girls. Seriously.
Mean Girls, First Wives Club, you can go down the list,
Oh, Heather's was
especially
poking fun at it too.
Heather's was great. But
But yeah,
no, that one I can say Kat and I personally fought within the industry in comics at
right.
ground
But
zero.
as a whole, we did not stand up and slap.
Oh,
these
as a
second wave-
as
generation?
a
Barry
whole,
didn't.
yeah.
We did
Yeah.
not slap these second waivers and tell them shut the fuck up.
No, and that really needed to be done. But unfortunately, at least speaking for the majority of the females that I've known through my life, they enjoyed it. And now they're all shocked that hey, they're my age and they're not married. Gee, I wonder why. Or they're on like their second divorce. Gee, I wonder why.
While
You know, it's
sowing,
actually that
this is great and fun. While reaping, what the fuck? What the hell's happening? Why me?
I would say also, like, for instance, that battle of the feminists colonizing and utterly destroying things. That fight, I remember that was the dividing line for the skeptic community, which was like the preview of things to come. We were there for the publishing industry, and then we were there for the comics industry as well. And no, I won't accept that one because no, we were personally involved on every level on a number of these fronts that have just gone to utter shit because of feminists.
So am I embarrassed? I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about the fact that I'm embarrassed about what happened to what I stuck up for. I mean, my
Yeah,
wife's embarrassed by it all the time because she went in trying to be Margaret Houlihan, and now you have
yeah,
TikTok girl in uniform.
that's pretty pathetic.
Ugh.
And what really screwed us? So if you really want to get at it, what really screwed us was the boomer judges.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I mean, it didn't matter how many of us within the comics industry or the publishing industry or even the skeptic community or the gaming community. At the end of the day, the people at the highest levels of power were still fucking boomers.
Yep.
Who got to make the decision? Who got to pass the law? Who got to decide what got on the news and what didn't? It
Who
was
listened to
always
John Lennon's
fucking boom. Yeah,
Imagine? Who listened to John Lennon and the Beatles too fucking much?
I hate that fucking song.
Oh, Imagine is one of the
Yes.
most nihilistic postmodern piece of shit songs I've ever heard. Just be miserable, fuck everyone, don't believe in religion, don't believe in anything at all.
I'm kind of glad that fucker got shot.
Want to reunite the Beatles? 2 more bullets. Oh man, I actually
I
like
don't have
Ringo
anything
Starr.
against Ringo.
I'll give it to Ringo. No, so let's spare Ringo because Ringo spent 30 years going through his fan mail.
If Ringo, I'm fine with. The other two, yeah, gun those
Well,
fuckers down.
Well, Ringo's not even one of the original. He was
No,
brought in later, and he's older than them.
Ringo is their accountant.
and I love how Ringo went through all of his fan mail. It took him 30 fucking years to do it, but he did it.
Yep, he
He
did do it.
personally went through all of his fan mail and sent people thank yous and everything. We're talking people like 30 years later got a fucking letter from Ringo Starr out of the blue. Thank you for your letter.
Like, no, that's being a boss. Besides, he was Mr. Conductor. You gotta love him.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean,
Are you talking about Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes.
Okay, him and George Carlin, man, those are the two best.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the depressing part here is the conclusion is, well, what we should have done is just killed everybody.
No, we should have just yanked him out of the chair like they did to our grandparents.
Mm.
That
We really
nobody
should've.
ever talks about
No,
how
my
that was the
grandparents
generation.
yeah,
I was just going to say that was the generation that took their parents' money, took their parents' home, and stuck them in old
folks'
people
homes.
homes and forgot about them. And then running away with glee with this new nest egg that they had stolen from the people that had raised them and taken care of them.
And did you ever notice they did it after we left home?
oh, of course.
You know, when you had to eat top ramen with chopped up celery in it for fucking dinner, they didn't do it. But as soon as you left home, all of a sudden, oh, I got my inheritance early. No, you didn't. You stole all of grandma's stuff and put her in a home.
You got celery?
Yeah, no shit.
Another one I would say is how many of us know people who, like, the day they turned 18, they got home and all their shit was on the lawn?
Oh
Oh, I
God,
I knew somebody that happened to. It was fucking horrific.
Yeah,
I knew a lot of people.
that was a constant.
That was huge, and I said I was never going to do that. You know, people were like,
Well,
"Oh
you
my God,
escaped.
yeah," but they're like, "Oh my God, your daughter's 25 and lives with you." I was like, "Have you seen the fucking prices for rent?" I was like, "No, no, no." I just, you know, they were like, "Do you even charge her rent?" I'm like, "No." She helps around the house, and you know, she was saving up her money so she could move out, and she moved out, and it lasted all of 4 months before her roommate stole everything and fucking ran off.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. So she was like, "Can I come home?" Middle of the night, she's fucking standing on my front porch. "Can I come home?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, come on in." Yeah. She was like, "Oh, my roommate screwed me." I was like, "Yeah, it happens." She goes, "Are you gonna make me leave?" I'm like, "No, no. Times are tough, honey." Because that was the 2000. That was during the 2008 after the 2008 housing crisis and banking meltdown. You know,
Oh,
I wasn't
jeez.
gonna throw my kids out when the fucking economy is shit. You know, and I'll tell you the truth. I wish that Zoomers and Millennials didn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs to still not be able to afford stuff. I wish they'd get what we were promised and they took away from us. I wish they could live off of one income like the boomers did.
Yeah, that's actually what it should be.
One income should support you, 2.5 kids, your wife, the mortgage of a house, payments on a car, and you should still have enough left over to be able to save up to take a vacation once a year. But no, instead, you know, the CEO, he needs another fucking ivory back scratcher, man. Fuck that dude. I mean, I would it wouldn't bother me if they weren't the most useless motherfuckers who just jump company to company. The woman who did the Bud Light campaign that cost
Yeah,
Anheuser Busch
just no,
4 billion.
destroy a brand.
Yeah, you know what she did? You know what she did? She jumped to another company.
Of
How'd
course
she
she
even get
did.
a fucking job?
She's making $45 million a year with another company.
So she's still getting paid.
Yeah, those people never fail. Those people never face the consequences for their actions, and that's what I hate is they never face any consequences. You know, oh, I can totally ruin a brand, I can destroy people's lives, but I don't face consequences. I get a promotion. I go to work for this other company. It's the have and have nots again. You know, if you work in a warehouse, go fuck yourself. Actually, now they're rubbing it in everybody's faces. They're designing robots to do the most menial jobs.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
But then, of course, they boosted minimum wage to $20 in some places. And of course, the rent immediately went up. The price of food immediately went up. The price of utilities immediately went up. And this is why I really feel for millennials and Gen Z. You know, they it's not that they can't get ahead. It's now they can't break even. Or we could break even if we like gave up on food. They don't even get that. They can't even afford to pay the payment on a car to live in. You know, and I really feel for them, and I get their frustration. I really do. But the thing is, though, is the big thing is we need to not buy into the hype. We need yes the boomers did all kinds of things, but there were a lot of boomers that were just in the same shitty situations we were. We need to quit pointing fingers at generations, at races, at sex, and point it right where it belongs. These rich motherfuckers that own the color blue that have never done. I'm not talking communism. I'm talking about stop giving them everything in the world and stop letting them tell you how to fucking live. Okay, Bill Gates has never worked a day in his fucking life. Don't listen to him on success. You know, and I wish these people would stop acting like literal supervillains.
Well,
I
I'm not
mean,
really thrilled at the prospect of, the future is probably going to be what? Either one of a Third World War or a Civil War. And I really didn't want to think that, at 50, I was going to have to hold a rifle.
I don't even care anymore.
You don't even care anymore.
I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. You know what? They want to run around and shoot each other in the fucking streets. I'll just buckle down and hope my family makes it through. If they want to throw nukes at each other, I'm not going to care until I see the flash or until I see the funny snow. That's when I'll care. When I see the warm snow, that's when I'll care, because I'm tired. I'm done with caring. I'm done with it. I'm just going to turn my fucking Gen X apathy up to 11. I don't fucking care anymore. I don't give a fuck who's doing what on TikTok. I don't give a fuck who's doing what in politics. I don't give a fuck who's shooting you anymore. I don't care.
I got to admit, I've kind of hit the point where, well, aren't you concerned about? No, I don't fucking care.
Don't you care? No.
But no.
But no.
They cut the heads off babies. Don't care.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me how I could not care. I said, well, it's really simple. They had 30 years to solve this problem, and they never did. And now, see, I'm of the thing. I don't care about either side, so I don't care if they wipe each other out.
Yeah,
I don't care if one side. If one side wipes the other out, good, we're done. Because I remember when the PLO was hijacking cruise liners and throwing little old ladies overboard.
Yeah, I remember that. I
remember when the PLO was blowing up airliners for shits and giggles. I remember all that. I remember when Hezbollah bombed the fucking Beirut barracks. I remember all that.
Well, we're looking at a tribal blood feud that's been going on for about 5,000 years. The idea that we're going to have any fucking effect on it is ridiculous. These people are not going to ever get along. Fuck it. It's not our problem.
It's not our problem. We got our own problems. And I'm tired of, I will say one thing. Now, say what you want about the U.S. imperialism and all that stuff. We kept Europe from fighting. Between us and the Soviet Union, we kept Europe from fighting for 50 fucking years. That's an accomplishment. And we pretty much kept the Middle East on low-key tap for like 50 years. But now it's gotten to the point where they're just gonna fight. I'm waiting for Germany to invade France.
That's kind of an interesting thing that you bring up there, because that's correct. We did. Or the United States did. But it's kind of weird because at the one end, we did the United States did all these kind of underhanded things to keep the world stable under, I guess that was John Foster Dulles and Alan Dulles' watch. And like the moment the plug was pulled on it, it just went to shit.
Yeah, as soon as America started declining, everything went to shit. And like I said, I'm waiting for Germany to invade France. And I'm waiting for force of habit.
Well, see, I'm waiting to see Italy do some shit with Germany. Because you saw that Germany was sneaking in immigrants to Italy, and that's why things went absolutely fucking batshit like it was 2 weeks ago when the gang wars were happening and they'd kicked the actual residents off the island.
Oh, they did finally?
No, from what I remember reading, the gang wars from the quote unquote refugees that they brought into that island
rolled up on the island and took it.
Yeah, when I took it, and basically the people that had been living there, actual Italians, had to leave the island. They had to flee. And so I'm surprised that Italy hasn't declared war on Germany, because they brought refugees. They were picking them up and secretly dropping them off on the shores of Italy. Like, what the fuck, man?
Well, we're at war, and the problem is nobody can tell who the enemy is. Let's look. How many places have Chinese algae in the reservoir? Where the fuck did that come from? How many places have these invasive Chinese species destroying crops, the ecosystem, insects?
Oh yeah, kudzu, zebra clams or zebra mussels?
Fucking Chinese praying mantises. They came here on an airplane. Yeah, I'm sure they booked a ticket. We're at war, but we don't know who the hell we're fighting.
The Chinese products that seem to be built to hurt us.
Yeah. Let's not forget lead in the fucking baby formula.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, it's not a war of countries. It's like the government's turned around and declared war on your average person.
Not like, they have. They actually
have. They have. You have Klaus Schwab up there going, I'm going to make it my business to get rid of cars for personal transportation. Motherfucker, I'm not walking 50 miles to the store. And I'm not riding a horse. I hate horses.
Horses are actually more expensive and more polluting
Mm-hmm.
than cars
Yeah, I
Yeah, they
know.
are.
by like
Me
a
and my
lot.
neighbor. Me and my neighbor were joking about if it keeps going like this, we're just going to buy mules. I was like, I don't know, I can drive a cart. He's like, you can? I was like, yeah, I grew up driving a cart. He's like, you seriously drove a cart? I'm like, yeah, when I go out to my grandparents, I drive a cart. Because grandpa went to the store with a cart. Took us like 3 hours to get to town. And he was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man, what is wrong with you? He's like, I'm the Aztec. I'm supposed to be the guy that, his house didn't have running water. So no, my grandparents didn't have running water in the house.
Okay, I got a question for you, Ralts.
Yeah.
There has been talk that basically the moment it becomes clear that the United States is no longer going to intervene in conflicts, Russia will roll right over into Europe, China will roll into Taiwan, and Iran will start flinging nukes at Israel.
Well, Iran might roll on Israel, but China, if they already know that Taiwan has decided if worse comes to worse, they'll just blow up the factories.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the
Taiwan's
factories
already
are
said it.
all.
Yep, Janelle's right. The
Yeah,
factories are all wired, and
it's
Taiwan came out and
wild.
made a big. Yep. Russia. What does Russia want with Europe? Why? I mean, take a look at it. What the fuck do you want it for now? The economy's in a shambles. They have no industry. Their money
Full
is
of
going
pissed
down
off
the tubes.
Muslims.
Full of pissed off Muslims. What the fuck do they want with it? But yeah, if America is proved, well, number one, we're out of ammo. Can't believe that. Oh, we can make 100,000 shells a month. Yeah, well, when I was working, we can make 50,000 shells a month. Yeah, well, when I was working in ordnance, you guys were able to put out 2 million shells in a month. I know because you sent them all to me.
I know, was it last week? Biden told, was it Winchester? Yeah, it was one of the Winchester plants that was owned by the government, to be fair, but that you can't sell 5.56 to civilians anymore.
Yep. Yeah, I follow an ammunition maker. They're a low key. They started low key. They're up to like 5 machines now that make 5.56,
Mhm.
and they've had the government lean on them already. Oh, we need that ammo. We sell to civilians only. We need that ammo. I'll tell you why. Because the ASPs are fucking empty. It's fucking wild. But
ASP?
ammunition supply point.
Oh, okay.
Every military base has one or two. But I think the other countries in the world are going to realize that we got nothing anymore. And you know what? I'll say the other thing. The American public is so casualty adverse. I mean, the other nations know all they have to do is inflict one big burst of casualties, and the American civilians will be screaming to pull out. The war can't be won. Because they learned to play by the West's rules finally. Fuck, that's depressing.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, the 90s, we were on the edge of world peace. Everybody was calming down. Even Africa was starting to calm down. And then everything went to shit.
You couldn't have that,
Yeah, I couldn't have people actually, the birth rate was declining, and the standard of living was going up in Africa.
I mean, if we all get along, how the hell are liberals going to be elected?
Well, if we all get along, how can they force us to get in the pod and eat the bugs?
Yeah, exactly.
They declared war on the common people, from your average dude scraping out a living, getting gold wiring off of old motherboards in Africa, to Joe Sixpack that used to work in a factory and now brings beer, to your average Korean dude just trying to make it go by. They've declared war on all of us. I mean, everything. And there's no one person to fucking blame. I mean, there's nobody to fight. But the good thing is the majority of the people doing this to us are like 90.
Yeah, most of them are not long for this world, and their kids are morons.
They're not even boomers. They're fucking greatest generation, our silent generation. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we got dark tonight.
Yeah, it got real dark. Well,
Here I
I
am
was a little worried
advocating.
that was going to happen.
Here I am fucking advocating to drown our parents in the bathtub.
That's why I asked. Are you seriously? Night of the Long Knives for boomers?
I don't know. You know, I thought
Now,
about
I
it
would
more.
say, you know what? You know, the criticism would be the criticism I think that's fair with Gen X is it wasn't just apathy. I will go back that it was the attitude of, you know what? I don't have to care. I'll just go over here and take care of my own shit, do my own thing, and do it myself. If I can't buy it, I'll make it.
Yep,
But
because
we're not going to be left alone.
yeah,
That's the thing we didn't realize.
we thought because we were willing to leave people alone, they would leave us alone.
Right.
That was our mistake. That was our big mistake. I mean,
and I would say, yeah, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'd say the other big mistake we made is the communities that we built. And I'm just talking on a like, for instance, again, gaming or, gaming, be it video games or role-playing games, comics industry, you name it. These were communities we built. The convention community we built.
Yeah.
We were too welcoming. We let anyone in the door who said we were interested. And the next thing you know, we're invaded and colonized.
We should have gate-kept them.
Yeah, we should have. You know, the moment one of those feminists opened their mouth, we should have kicked them to the curb. Some of us tried.
There was a lot of mistakes, and it's multi-generational. The millennials thought like we did that they could change the world, and they found out the world would beat them like a baby seal.
We didn't think we could change the world. I don't think that.
I thought we could.
Really? I was under the impression we were all going to die, and I was just kind of glad when I hit 30 and said, shit, I'm alive. Seriously, I figured I was going to die.
When the Cold War ended, I thought we could change the world.
You know what? Yeah, when the Cold War ended, I thought, okay, finally this shit's done.
Yeah.
And then we always had that one faction that always wanted to go back.
Yeah.
They always were trying to start shit with Russia.
You know, remember when they were like the Cold War called, they want their politics back. And, 4 years later, let's bomb Russia.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's pretty much all obvious. All the old hippies didn't really mean it. They're more than happy to bomb Russia into oblivion if it's their side doing it.
It's just as long as it's their side.
Yeah, which is kind of sick. It doesn't really matter what's being done. As long as it's their side doing it, it's okay. But, that was feminism, too. It didn't matter that these feminist CEOs were all exploiting workers and, their factories were in China and kids were getting raped. It was okay because their side was doing it.
Yes.
But at least it was a woman in charge this time.
Yeah. At least it's, at least nobody called me racist as you get your head cut off.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just, oh man, it's been a weird decade.
It has. And I mean, as terrible as 9/11 was, the odds weren't bad.
No.
They really weren't. I mean, we're all terrified as shit that we're going to get blown up again, but
I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. Because
nukes?
Yeah, unless I see the flash, I don't care. I mean, because it's funny, one thing I learned as Gen X and one thing I learned coming up the way I did, I can stay retarded longer than they can stay malevolent. Okay.
What was that?
That was my wife, I learned to put one. But I can stay retarded longer than they can stay malevolent because nothing pisses people off. Nothing pisses people off more when they're being malevolent and you just ignore them. Two things that they hate: laughing at them and ignoring them. They absolutely hate it.
Okay, I've got a question for the audience here, for the boomer, or not the boomers, shit, the millennials and the zoomers. Now, one thing that I'm noticing among Gen X right now, and I had mentioned the DIY thing before, is I see that I see a lot of Gen Xers going back to that with a vengeance, to this almost extreme self-sufficiency.
Well, look at Janelle.
Well, I can think of just about every Gen Xer I know is like doing the, okay, well, if this is no longer available, how do I make it?
yeah.
How do I make my own fuel? How do I grow
Well,
food? What?
Kat's got an entire friggin' workshop in your garage,
Yeah,
so I
how
mean,
do
it's
I
the
make?
same
Yep.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, Kat, how do I make furniture? How do I make ammo? Are you guys doing that too? Just curiosity. Are Zoomers and millennials getting into that? This radical self-sufficiency stuff? Or is
Well,
this a generational thing?
I don't know if you've seen the trend, but more and more people are moving to rural areas and leaving the cities and becoming homesteaders. A lot of the older Gen Xers have moved to homesteading and would rather be self-sufficient. And surprisingly, Tim Pool was the guy that pointed one of the guys out. I actually have the guy's homesteading Bibles that he created. And yeah, he basically said he didn't want to have to depend on everybody else because he could see civilization was going to shit. Didn't want to be in a city, wanted to be self-sufficient, because if shit hit the fan, he would at least be okay. He butchers his own, cattle, has different recipes on how to make beer, cider, mead, your own fuel out of rotten fruit. It's unreal. But I mean, this has become a trend now that everybody's bailing and trying to become self-sufficient. So yeah, this is a thing. And now millennials are jumping in on it too. Dead
Cool.
silence.
Millennial here. I don't have the tools or the knowledge to do that. I'm stuck living with my parents. Well, the knowledge you can just get online. You don't have to
There's
buy a book.
plethora.
But yeah, I don't mean like survivalist shit per se, Cesario. I mean as simple as like I said, Kat can make furniture. if need be, although we found it easier just to buy old furniture and restore it.
But yeah, I can and have made furniture. So, and I have all the tools to do it. I just don't have all the tools I want. But anyway.
There's never enough money for the tools you want. I'm in that boat with you on the brewing end. Believe me.
Yeah.
Never enough.
Yeah, here, Fiona knows how to sew, and I hope that's making a comeback.
I hope so too. I mean, I actually do enjoy sewing. I just don't have the time to do it as much as I would like. So
I know that it was my parents' notion of, well, fuck it. If something breaks, just buy a new one. I remember it was my grandparents who were the ones that taught me, look, this is how you fix something.
Yeah, my mom made sure I knew how to hem my clothes if there was a tear or, the seam was messed up, or how to put buttons back on shirts. So, if one of Steve's work shirts pops a button, I sew it right back on. I don't know how to use a sewing machine because my mom is not a good teacher and she would yell at me for one mistake. So now I fear sewing machines.
I can teach you. I can
Okay,
totally
see,
teach you.
yeah, I would be okay with you teaching me, but I'm like, nope, sewing machines scare me now.
I can totally teach you. My mom used to make all of her own clothes, and when I was a kid, she'd make my clothes. And yeah, same with you. She taught me how to sew. So yeah, I can definitely teach you. And I
I'm a,
won't make it scary.
I do have to say, because my mom made her own clothes too, and I know with our parents' generation, it was actually still cheaper to buy fabric and make your own clothes than buy them. It's just so weird that that's flipped now.
Yeah, it's more expensive. It's more expensive to buy what you need and make it than it is to buy it.
Yeah, I
It
I've
don't get
noticed
depends.
that.
that's only happened in the last about 10 years, and it's actually it's a combination of two things. Number one, the cost of the cloth is going up, but the other thing is the cost of the cost of what you want to buy is going down, even though, but it's cheap as fuck made. But I mean, the cost is going down. To a friend of mine said that they're doing that so that people don't even bother to learn anymore.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. That's why I don't I mean, I'll go to Joann's when they're having like really good sales and stuff like that to get fabric, but actually the best deal is go to the Goodwill and get bed sheets.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Get bed sheets and get curtains.
I like that idea. I like
Hmm.
that idea a lot.
Yeah, and also the Goodwill, or at least the ones around here, has an entire section devoted to sewing. So you can get bolts of fabric that people have donated for like nothing.
That's good to know. Unfortunately, Goodwill in our neck of
Yeah.
the woods, yeah, it's not that cool.
I remember. Actually, it was a kind of a culture shock coming out here, and I forget why, but we hit a Goodwill. Oh, my cousin suggested that we hit the Goodwill to look for stuff, and I walked in. And I'm like, "This is the Goodwill? Am I in the right spot? There's stuff here." No, I mean like we walked in and it wasn't the first time going, but it was the second time. I got like furniture, like wood, actual not particle board, actual wood furniture for like $15. Like this is insane.
No, in California, they said for the Goodwill, at least out here, if they find anything good, they take it off the shelves and they auction it off online. That's why you can't find good stuff out here in California.
Yeah, that's true.
So I used to be able to go get comic books. I'd heard so many stories about getting miniatures for Warhammer 40K. And I found out later because I was going to go check out the Goodwill, and they're like, no, those get auctioned off on the Goodwill website. I'm like, wow, great.
Yeah, they kind of. You've got these people that are wealthy enough they don't need to, but it's like they enjoy going around and just ripping everything down so they can make one more fucking dime.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's squeeze every last penny out of something. That mentality needs to go.
No, yeah, the whole I have to control all the wealth. It's
Yeah,
pretty disgusting. And no, that's not me being a communist. That's me saying that we're repeating the beginning of the 20th century now in the 21st century. It's the same shit is happening. We've got
right
our
down to
modern
company
day robber
towns.
baron. Yeah,
Mhm.
Well,
I mean,
no, no. See, the complaining about squeezing every last dime out of something, or need to profit off every little thing. That really has nothing to do with capitalism or communism per se. I mean, that's a false argument. Really, the argument we're making here is, look, there's more to life than profit and material gain. That's the issue.
Yeah,
There are other things that are far more important than material gain and possessions. And ironically, communism, it's all about material possessions because there's nothing but the material world.
yes,
Families aren't important, bonds aren't important. All that matters is production and goods and power. I mean, communists are the ultimate materialists, and we've come to this state in which it seems that people are money and material possession seems to trump all other things. That's the most important thing. And it's like, no, it isn't. When I cut all ties from my family, I mean, they just kept waving money in front of my face as if that was going to win me over. And it's like, that's not, no, keep your fucking money. I told them, take me out of the fucking will. I don't want to be a part of this. I want no part of any of this anymore. I don't want any of your shit. I want to be left alone. I just want to be happy with the family I have. That's far more important to me. And yeah, I'm happy in the position I'm in. I don't need more. I don't know. Am I making any sense here?
no, you're
Yeah.
making perfect sense.
And it's kind of odd coming from an atheist again, but you know, the I guess things beyond the material plane matter. Values matter. Abstract ideas matter. Altruism matters.
yeah.
Raising good kids matter.
Well, It's sad because all those values are gone now because everything just literally revolves around money. I mean, even I think all of us growing up, our parents had to worry about the bills and all that stuff, but things did not revolve around money. Well, I guess it depends.
Um,
Mm.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, that's why I said I guess it depends because now I'm thinking back.
my so-called hippie liberal parents were greedy motherfuckers, and it was all about material possessions. Oh, they claimed to have other values, and that they didn't live materialistic lives. Bullshit, you guys didn't.
Remember, they became the yuppies before you could turn around.
Yep.
And then they gutted the U.S. so that they could fuck in the back of BMWs while wearing Adidas.
I will say this. My dad grew up dirt poor, and I mean dirt poor. Like he said, he could smell poor. Like there's a certain scent, or that he could when he walked by something. And so at one point he worked 4 jobs. So when I say my dad had an obsession with money, his obsession was to never be that poor again and to never allow me to live that kind of life. My mom, on the other hand, yeah. So I will give my dad a pass on that. I mean, when he told the story about his parents driving the station wagon, it was being held together with duct tape. And when they pulled up to the place he was living at when he'd moved to San Diego to go to college, the front left wheel just kept going after they parked the car. Okay, Ralts knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we drove that car from Texas to Washington, parked it, and it never started again.
Yeah. So I am going to give my dad a pass on that.
I got lucky. One of the things that my wife and I, before we got married, she said that she had, 3 things: that I treat the kids better than we were treated, I treat her better than, she was treated, and that I, no matter what happened, no matter what it was, that if it was a choice between money and her and the kids, I would always choose her and the kids. I said, even if we're living in a cardboard box, she goes, as long as you're in the box with me. And she kept to that. She kept to it. When I was working fucking 20-hour days and her and the kids were never seeing me because I was sleeping at work, she told me, I need you to make your decision. And I was like, she goes, because if you choose this job over me and the kids, I will leave. And I said, okay, well, we're going to be hungry. And she said, well, I'll tell you what, you stop by your boss and you quit, and we'll keep right on down to sign up for the food bank. She never held it against me that we ate from the food bank for fucking 2 months while I was trying to get a decent job. She stuck with me. The material didn't matter. When the house burnt down, she said, we have the baby, we have the girls, we have the car, we have you, and you have your boots. We're fine. We'll be fine. You have your boots. When the flood destroyed shit, she was like, you have your boots. We got the truck to start. We'll be fine. She would always say, it doesn't matter that everything's been wiped out or that we're broke. You have your boots. I have you. The kids have us. And she stuck to it. And I've learned over the last 10 years that I'm fucking lucky. I'm really lucky. Because most women would have fucking left my ass.
Yeah, unfortunately. I just remember once in college, I had to get, I was leaving the dorms. I had to get housing within 11 days or I was going to be sleeping in the car. Now, there was a certain amount of money set aside for my college, but the woman who raised me just didn't want to give it to me. Just didn't want to give it to me. And I finally found a place that I could afford on my own, the money I was making, but I needed a security deposit. And I said, look, I'll fucking pay you back. I just need the security deposit. It's from my college. It would be from my college account anyway. The money that's saved is no, you can't do it. You are wasted. Right? It's just going berserk, right? At the 11th hour, I finally get my father to give me the damn security deposit so that I'll have housing for the year. And And again, it was a deposit. I'd pay it back. And I get a call from the woman who raised me at like 2 a.m. screaming, "You took away my money! My money!"
My money.
I was just
Like, look,
Jesus.
Mr. Krabs, fucking relax. Sorry.
yeah, no. It's just, hearing that over the phone is like, my life's fucked.
My wife showed up at work. I'm working at a cannery. I'm working night shift at a cannery. You can imagine how amazing that was. And get off shift, and my wife's waiting with the car, and she smells of burnt wood. And the baby's asleep. She's got sun on her face, and I'm like, "Hey, thanks for coming to meet me." And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Are you ready to go home?" She goes, "How would you like to spend the night at a friend's house?" I was like, "Are you throwing me out?" She goes, "No, we're going to spend the night with Zach and Mindy." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, we're going to spend the night at Mindy's place." And I was like, "I want to go home." And she goes, "Yeah, well, there's a problem with that." I was like, "What?" She goes, "The house burned down."
Oh,
So we're
jeez.
looking for a place, and we found a place. We found the possibility of a place, and I call my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, mom, I'm $200 short for the last pet deposit, children's deposit, utility deposit, and generic deposit. Can I borrow $200?" And my mother goes, "Well, I have that, but I might want it later, so no," and hung up the phone. I'm like,
Yep.
Wow.
I was like, "Yeah, yep, yep." And she's gonna ask me in 2 months why she's not allowed to visit the grandkids. But we got lucky, because I was talking to, I was making that call because of before cell phones were really a big thing. I was making that call in the apartment complex manager's office, and the apartment complex manager goes, "Did she just hang up on you?" I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, you know what? I'm the manager. I run this joint. I'm just going to charge you your first and last month, okay? And I'm going to call a friend of mine, and we're going to get you some furniture, and we'll get the baby a crib," because I mean, she was offended.
Wow. That's great.
Listen,
That was a great place. But yeah, she was like, "I'm offended."
Wow. But
Yeah.
just your mom choosing money over not her son, her daughter-in-law, and her grandkids.
Yeah. And then she asked me 2 months later, she's like, "How come we never bring the grandkids by?" I hung up the phone.
good.
I hated that woman.
Well, the stories you've told us about her, you have a legitimate
I have
reason to hate that woman.
I barely touched the surface.
I've heard some
Wow.
of the other ones that he's told
Oh God,
in private. So yeah,
I
you
bring my
guys
new
have
wife
no
home.
idea.
I bring my new wife home, right? New wife, my baby, and I'm there. And the next day, yeah, I'm out working on the car, and my mom goes, "Hey, guess who's here?" I'm like, "Who?" And she goes, "I remember little Jerry." I was like, "Yeah, I like dated her in high school." "Oh, well, she came to visit you." I'm like, "Say what now?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, why are you coming? I've talked to you since high school. That was 10 years ago." She goes, "Oh, well, my mom goes to church with your mom, and your mom said you want to see me." I said, "I want to see you." And she's like, "Is that your wife?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, okay." So she stood and chat and left. She stood around, chatted and left. It was my wife that told me what was really going on. My mom had invited an ex-girlfriend over because my mom didn't like my wife. And it was basically why don't you, why don't you be with this girl instead? And
God.
I asked Jerry, I was like, "Hey, did you get the feeling," she was, "that, our parents were trying to hook us up?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." She was like, "Yeah, I had the same feeling. That's why I left." I was like, "Fuck," because my mom was telling me, "Oh, remember how great Jerry was? Remember how great Jerry was?" I was like, "We dated for a week." It's like, we dated for a week. I don't even remember why we got together. I don't even remember why we broke up. But yeah, it's just, she was a piece of work. She was a real piece of fucking work. So when people are like, "Oh yeah, I never talked again to my parents after I moved out," I'm like, I totally get you, baby.
I take it that your wife didn't put up with your mom's shit, and that's why she didn't like her?
Right. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we all had terrible parents. I mean, that's one thing Gen X and I'll swap stories on. We all had terrible parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Honestly, at this
Massive,
point, you kind of wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah,
massive neglect and abuse.
but it taught us self-reliance.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually.
but the neglect was better than the abuse.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, you mean like those days when you're just like, damn, you leave me alone all the time. Why can't you leave me alone now? All of a sudden they want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
But there's stipulations. Yeah.
Why do you want to hang out with me? I don't like you. I don't want to hang out.
My favorite was my mom used to listen in on my phone calls with my friends when they would call the
Jesus.
house. And so then she would come in crying, my daughter's going to turn into a slut. I'm like, what the
Ugh.
fuck?
Well, did you?
No.
Well, why
I
not?
was pure as the driven snow because my dad told me the horror stories of high school students, of his female students that would get pregnant, or his male students that were like dripping bloody pus out of their dicks because they didn't use a condom. Yeah. He told me all those stories about the students. So yes, that is why I stayed pure as the driven snow. I was like, do you remember that episode of South Park where the boys and the girls go to war Mad Max style because they teach them sex ed? And the boys are convinced that the girls will give them STDs, and the girls are convinced that the boys' only goal in life is to knock them up. It's where they introduced Miss Chokes on Dick.
I remember that episode.
Yes, no, I mean, my dad would tell me stories about girls coming in to say goodbye to him because they listened to their boyfriend and did not have protection, and now they're pregnant and their boyfriend has dumped them and they had to drop out of school because their parents wanted them to take care of the baby. So, I mean, it was more than one student. Or, boys coming up during PE or something and asking the coaches like, hey man, I've got this weird thing going on with my genitals. And the coach is like, all right, we'll talk to your parents, get you to the doctor. It's obvious you have a venereal disease. Like, no, but this is real things that happen. And I mean, my dad told me the stories and I am so glad he did. I am so glad that I did not screw around in high school because I had friends that got genital warts. And I was like, see, that is why you don't have sex.
I knew a lot of people who were born with them.
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
Awful.
I know people who were born with herpes because,
Because
they crapped out at life.
Ugh.
I just remember my second round in college, my health teacher telling us the statistic how 87% of San Diegans had at least one STD. It's like, oh fuck. It's like, well, that's what you get with the Navy and the Marines right there.
Right?
Oh God, I kept condoms in my glove box.
Smart.
And I'd change them out every 60 days because they were in my glove box. They'd get heated up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back when me and my wife were just friends, she opened the glove box and condoms fell out, and she looked at me and I braced myself. I'm waiting for her to make fun of me. And she looks at me and she looks at the condoms and puts it back in and goes, "Oh, at least I know I won't see you in the clinic." I actually walked out on a girl. I held up the condom. She goes, "Oh, I don't like having sex with condoms." I'm like, "I won't have sex without them." She goes, "Oh, you can have sex with me without a condom." And I said, "Nope, I'm out."
That's instant no boner. Thank you.
It's like, no. Nope. It was just like, nope, that's asking for trouble. I didn't want to I didn't want to stick my dick in and explode.
So should we call it a night?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, before we do, everyone, tomorrow I will be uploading a new episode of RALT'S True Tales of Horror. So look forward to that. Anything else?
Nope.
Buy Boobs of
Not that
Steel.
yet. Yes,
Yeah,
buy
buy
boobs of
Boobs
steel.
of Steel.
Buy
Buy
Beyond
Boobs of
Humanity
Steel.
books.
Buy boobs of steel and understand how we got to this place where you're not allowed to criticize the fact that the women are all ugly in all the media.
Exactly.
I look forward to the day when women are hot in media again. I mean, today I got to see Barbara Crampton's boobs. That was cool.
Hey.
Yeah.
And
All right.
penis antenna.
Good night.